if I told you that you probably don't legally own the rights to your own music videos? It sounds crazy, I know, but I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is, it's true. If you've gotten someone to shoot a music video for you, then more than likely, you technically don't own the rights to it, even if you paid them. The good news is, there's a simple workaround that fixes this problem, and after watching this video, you'll never have to worry about it ever again. And from here on out, you're actually going to own the rights to every music video that you get. Full disclosure, this is according to the copyright laws of the United States. If you live in a different country, then you're going to have to check in with your country's laws. It might be a little bit different, but if you are an artist that lives in the US like myself, according to the Copyright Act Title 17, it basically says the creator owns the work by default unless it qualifies as a written work for hire agreement. And in the case of getting a video shot for you, whether it's a music video, a podcast, social media content, it actually doesn't matter. When it comes to somebody shooting a video for you, they are considered the creator. It doesn't matter if you are the artist in the video. It doesn't matter if you paid them. It only matters if you have it in writing that you have some sort of work for hire situation going on. And if you want to get your own copy of one of these work for hire agreements, we made them free on our website at indieleverage.com/myvideo. But it's pretty simple. It's basically saying, hey, I paid you for this and I own it still. Obviously, there's a little bit more that goes into it, but you have to get the videographer to sign off that they don't own the rights to this video. And I guess it kind of makes sense if you think of like a photographer. The model, and if they're taking a picture of a person, the model wouldn't have ownership over the picture. It would be the photographer. But for this, it's a little bit different just because you have an artist that's out looking for a video. Obviously, we're creators too. So that's where you have to think about the situation. Now, most videographers, they either don't know about this or they don't pursue it. I never heard about it myself until like a few years ago, where I was in this masterclass and an artist said that they ended up getting like a cease and desist letter for their own music video. They were running ads using clips of their own music video. And the videographer ended up saying basically, hey, you're going to need to take this down or, we're going to have some issues. I'm going to have to sue you. And obviously the artist was perplexed. This was outrageous to him. I paid this videographer. This is my music video. Where do you get off sending me a cease and desist letter? So naturally, he goes to his lawyer, and his lawyer has to explain, hey, according to the copyright laws, Title 17, the creator owns the IP. And in this case, the videographer is the creator. So thankfully, I haven't personally had a situation where anything has happened with my own music videos just because somebody else shot it. Like I said, I think either most videographers, they either don't know about it or they have no reason to pursue it. In this case, this artist was running ads, and I guess it was something like, hey, well, I don't want my video ran as ads. I don't know. I personally didn't understand what issue the videographer had in the first place, but I feel like it was a good way to learn a lesson vicariously. Unfortunately, it was a little bit painful for that artist, but he learned the lesson too. From here on out, I'm going to make sure I have a work for hire agreement, get them to sign it either in person or digitally beforehand. And we gotta make sure this never happens again. Because let's say just in general, it's been 5 years. You're not running ads. You're not worrying about putting it out there like that, but you do have it on your YouTube channel. Let's say the videographer after 5 years has upgraded so much, they don't want their name associated with that. They don't want their name associated with what they used to do. I don't know. Maybe I feel like these are kind of just like horror stories. Like I said, I've never heard of this. Have you? Have you ever heard of that? Until this person told me about that situation, I was just like that I wouldn't even have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed that the videographer has any rights to it. But it does make sense. I have had videographers post the video on their page. technically, I didn't even think about, hey man, this is my video. Where do you get off? It's like, more eyeballs. It doesn't really matter. You did edit it. This is gonna help. It's a win-win. And I feel like maybe that is why most people they don't even think about this law on either side, because it's a win-win until you get to the point where it's like there's some real money involved off of that video. Then even then, I'm sure that's when you pay them according to what you think you might make. But hey, by the way, I still own this. And we help artists get on a bunch of different podcasts with a guaranteed interview on our platform. And you can get started with the link here on your screen. The more things like this that I learn, the more things like this that I'm able to implement, the more confident I am as an artist, because you don't want to be stuck in a situation like that where you have a whole plan. For that artist, they had a whole plan. They had the clips, they had the ads. I'm not exactly sure what type of promotion they had, but I know that they put time into setting all this up. And because they didn't think of something as simple as having a work for hire agreement with the videographer, they had to start from scratch. They had to throw everything out the window and say, all right, well, now what are we going to do? This isn't one of those where the videographer even wanted to have any wiggle room. Maybe it was a power trip thing. Who knows? Who knows? And maybe when you pay for your music video, at first it's okay. But what if it does pop off? What if you actually do start making some money off of that? See, that's when people's true colors start to come out. That's when people start to actually show you their true sides. Maybe at that point, it's like, hey, by the way, and maybe they still didn't know about this. Again, I've never heard of any videographer that knew about this. And I've never heard of any artist telling me a situation other than the one I just told you about where they had some shit go on. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but it also doesn't matter if they don't know about it. Again, when something pops off, when money starts being involved, I know it's hypotheticals. I know it's just like, okay, what is this? We're just living in fantasy land. Whatever. We might as well think about a hypothetical for you to even consider the possibility of using a work for hire agreement. Like, why would I do it? Why would I spend the time? Like what's the point? Because I guess it's the same point of owning any of our shit. Any of our music, the beats, the whatever. Maybe you're that type of person that doesn't care, but if you were the type of person that cares, let's just walk through a hypothetical. You finally get a video to pop off. Maybe a clip of it went viral on TikTok or Reels or some shit like that, and everybody's just going to check out this video. Cool. Well, once money starts getting involved, that's when people start feeling some type of way. Hold on. You paid me, let's say you paid like $500 for this shit. What's $500? Let's say you start getting millions of views. You know what I mean? Like, that $500, it starts feeling like salt on the wound. And maybe they don't know about the Copyright Act Title 17. But I don't know about you. I feel like I'm not the only one. But I've actually, within the past few years, I'll have been in a situation where I don't necessarily know what to do. And I take my ass to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Is there anything that I could do? Is there any legal route that I could take? Whatever. And you know that motherfucker, yes, here, boop, 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 boop. They got the bullet points. They'll tell you exactly what it is. They'll be able to cite everything. And really quickly, I think that's when it could point at things like the Title 17 in the U.S. Copyright Act. I don't know. This is highly hypothetical, right? Maybe it never happens. Maybe it never does. But a good way to turn a maybe into a certainty is by just doing something simple, like sending out a little work for hire agreement. Because it's not just music videos. It's any of the things. So they legally would have a right to some of the ownership, some of the money that you make, even if it's just like a social media clip that starts going off. Let's say you get a brand deal off of that. Oh, you got a brand deal off of because you got so much attention off the video that's my IP, me as the videographer. Okay, well, I want a percentage. I don't know, the more leverage that you can take for yourself, and not in a fuck you videographer way, but just like, hey, by the way, I'm owning this. No hard feelings. It's just business. No hard feelings, but I know my business. And yeah, for me, anybody that shoots anything for me, they're gonna have to sign one of these. I'll probably just do it electronically. Like I said, you can download it for free at indieleverage.com/myvideo. But yeah, you can send it electronic. That's probably the route I'm gonna go. Real simple. Or you can just print it out. And right before you shoot it, be like, hey, can you go ahead and sign this? It's real simple, one page. By the way, I own it. That's essentially it. Like this video right here, it's mine. And in the moment, I don't think there's any videographer that's gonna be like, nah, you wish you did. I'm gonna own this. Because at that point, it's like, okay, well, you're losing your money. Because I'm just gonna go with somebody else, somebody that will work for a work for hire agreement. And these are these are highly hypothetical, right? Who's really gonna have a problem? But don't don't just say, hey, well, it's really highly unlikely that somebody is gonna do anything, so whatever. Just why not? Right? They say keep your taxes for 5 years. It's really highly unlikely that the IRS is gonna come and audit my ass, but just in case, I got my taxes for the last 5 years. Like, why not? Why not? What do you think businesses do? What do you think this is? So treat your music career, whether you're making money now, whether you hope to make money, whether this is just something that you want to keep as a hobby. It's your creation. When it comes to music, when it comes to any art, movies, like anything, books, anything that people create, IP is everything. It's everything. You gotta protect yours. So it doesn't honestly matter. It's not one of those things where it's like, well, if you want to take this serious, if you want to really be a music, even if you want to just put your music out, it is a hobby. It's not something you are trying to pursue. You have your 9 to 5. In fact, you like your career. You know this is going to be something that will be a hobby for the rest of your life. And it's not one of those like, oh man, this is what you wanted. Some people knit, some people garden. You make music. That's awesome. You still should protect your IP. It doesn't matter if there's no money involved. What am I gonna do with it? It doesn't matter. It's yours. You created it. Like why not? Why wouldn't you do that? So like I said, get yours for free. indieleverage.com/myvideo, or like I said, go to ChatGPT. By the way, how do I do this? Go to Google, whatever. Go to the Copyright Act. Look at it yourself. Title 17. Check it out. Do your own research. You can look up any templates. You don't have to get it from me, obviously. Just do it. Make it for yourself. Make it where it's something simple, where it's very easy, where every single time that you get a video done, bada bing, bada boom, you own your own videos.